2-0 at the weekend suggests it was a fairly comfortable outcome for the Blues, but is that how it panned out on the day?
Yeah, largely it was. It was a pretty comfortable performance, like you say, and Blackpool failed to put Everton under much pressure for most of the game. You know, they were significantly changed from the side that beaten Doncaster 3-1 earlier in the week. And I think it was a bit of a clear kind of sign from Ian Holloway that while they were coming to try and get a result, clearly promotion's their priority, and he rested the likes of Stephen Craney and Barry Ferguson, quite influential performers for them. And as a result, Everton, even though they had their own injury problems, which were significant when you think about it, no Stephen Pienaar, no Tim Cahill, no Victor Anachabi, obviously no Landon Donovan, unfortunately, because he missed the game through his illness. But nevertheless, they were comfortably better than Blackpool, and that was largely down to Royston Drenthe, Marouane Fellaini and other players like that just stepping up really when they were needed, particularly Drenthe, who provided the eye-catching performance and really got Goodison on its feet really.
This is it. I mean, rave reviews for Royston of late, and is he kind of responding to Pienaar's arrival and upping his game?
I hope so. I think that's what he looks like he's signalled he's going to do. He's very frustrating, Drenthe, because he's clearly got all the ability in the world. His close control, his pace, his ability to shoot with both feet, but left-footed rocket of a shot. And you can see why he got a move to Real Madrid when he was so young and why he was so highly thought of. But I think with him sometimes it's the attitude and the application and the sort of discipline and adapting to a system that he struggles with. Having said that, he's shown that he wants to try and step up and respond to the fact that Stephen Pienaar's come. It will be easy for him just to let his head go down, given how well Pienaar's played since he's arrived. But instead, Drenthe he had the opportunity on Saturday and he really took it with both hands. It was really a joy to behold sometimes when he was running at Blackpool's defence and especially their full-back, and they were just terrified of him, and he scored one and had a hand in the second, so it was a really good performance.
As you touched on already, Landon Donovan unavailable at the weekend, which is a bit of a shame, but all in all, how's his kind of second spell at the Blues been?
Yeah, it was a big shame. I think everyone wanted him to play and to be able to have that last performance in a blue shirt, and it would have been nice for him to kind of cap it all off with a goal. That's the one thing he hasn't quite managed. Well, he hasn't managed during this spell, but that's the only thing he's lacked. He's been a breath of fresh air from day one. It's been tremendous. I mean, when it was announced that he was coming back, there were a few kind of, not raised eyebrows, but a few sort of murmurs of, would he be quite the same? Would he have the same effect and impact on Everton's squad? Would he have the same pace? He was 29 going on 30, and he answered all those questions conclusively pretty much from day one. He came into a struggling team. The first two games, Landon said to us, I wondered if it was the same, not the same club, but the same team I'd come back to. Bolton, they were beaten by Bolton at Goodison, and then a laboured win over Tamworth in the third round of the cup. But then after that, really, things just picked up completely, and I think a lot of that was his attitude, his infectious positivity, his work rate, his fresh set of eyes. Really, he hadn't been tainted by the gloom of the earlier part of the season, and he just lifted the camp. New faces do make a difference to a squad, and unfortunately they're able to build on his arrival and add a few more in January. And then the whole mood of the club's changed, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for kick-starting that. He'll be missed. It's a great shame that he can't really join permanently, and it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, it was always going to be just a non-starter. He's contracted to Galaxy, and he's the poster boy for American soccer, as it is over there. And when you do deals with the likes of American clubs, you don't buy them from the club. You have to deal with the MLS, and you're buying from the league as well as the club. It's not a straightforward transfer. You'd have a huge premium because he's such an important focal point. So that's not going to happen, and maybe you wonder if it will happen again from coming back to Goodison. I'm sure he would, but he's always very honest, and he said, look, I've got a massive schedule ahead of me this year really. David Moyes asked me last winter, I just felt too tired, I wouldn't have done it justice, and I said no, I might be in the same boat next winter. The year after that he'll be 32, So you wonder if it'll happen. But even if it doesn't happen again, I don't think anyone can doubt that he's played his part in 2 fantastic passages of Everton's history, and hopefully set them, who knows, all the way to Wembley.
This is it. And just lastly, looking ahead to the next round, Sunderland, bit of a form team, and O'Neill's got kind of good cup pedigree, but I think the Blues are really getting that Wembley feeling.
Absolutely, yeah, they are. I mean, you can't ask for much more than a home draw, can you? It's Goodison's been superb in the FA Cup so far this season. A lot of that, you've got to take your hat off to the people behind the scenes at Goodison who decided to offer the £25 for adults, £5 for kids deal, which is, has been, in return, the fans have rose to that, and you've seen really improved attendances on the league in the FA Cup, and Saturday was like the pinnacle so far. It was, not far off a sellout, if in fact a sellout. So I'd imagine it'll be like that again against Sunderland. Quarter final, big game for Everton, probably the biggest game for a while actually, not the ideal opponents, but when you get into the last stage of a big cup competition, there's no real ideal opponents. We'll see what happens with Spurs, and very unlikely they'll be knocked out. So you wouldn't have wanted to get Spurs, you wouldn't have wanted to get Chelsea if they're still in it, and we could do that at Liverpool at this stage. I think most people are thinking it'll probably be or sense of maybe an All Merseyside final could happen, but that's that's reckoning without how hard Sunderland, that challenge they're going to represent. They're flying under Martin O'Neill. He's got that counter-attacking, fast-flowing football. He's revitalised players like Sessegnon, and they're going to be a really difficult prospect, and Everton are going to have to be fully on their mettle to get past them. But like said in today's paper, there's just a feeling that there is real cup fever at Goodison, and Everton have got their own momentum at the moment, and that'll take some stopping.